And we are live. I was muted to start that bad boy. What's going on, everybody? It's the MLB Strategy Show. It is Monday, September 25th, the final week of the MLB regular season. We got a doozy today, folks. Early game, and then a 3-game main slate that locks at 9:38 p.m. Yeah, that's what we got going on today. 3 games tonight. 18 of you in here right now. I'm surprised it's even 18. So I guess my bots are working. Shout out to SportWiz and El Negro Loco, Arnold Lane, Steven Leibowitz. There's going to be a thin crowd today, I expect. And I don't know how much I have to add to this slate. Remember, it's a 3-game slate in baseball, which means there are 60 available. Technically, I guess there are a couple more, but we have 60 possible people that we could roster. Every single one of them is good to a degree. And that's what we need to break down for today. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you got anything. You had some good stuff going on in the NFL. I did, but unfortunately, I couldn't get anything from anybody else from the Dolphins, and that's what hurt me. I had a Tua, Mostert, Ford, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton lineup, but it died out with 2 additional Dolphins that weren't the dude that scored 100 touchdowns. I had Barrios and whoever the tight end is. That one died for me. So I had a lot of it, but it was awful. It was awful. But now we got to talk baseball. I got it pulled up on the screen. I ran my crunches. I ran the data. We're going to break it down as best as we can. But remember, you kind of need a little bit of everything. Let's figure out what the best spots are for today. We're clearly not going the full bore. We're definitely not going the full hour. That's for sure. Yeah, Smythe killed me. Smythe killed me. That was a bummer lineup, man, because it smashed. I thought Barrios was going to score a touchdown there on like a 4th down play, and if he would have, it would have been really big, but didn't really matter. Anyway, let's get into it here. Angels and Rangers, first game up. 3.9 run implied total for the Angels, 5.1 for the Rangers. Patrick Sandoval going for the Angels. John Gray going for the Rangers. We're going to start on the John Gray side. 6,400 for Gray. I guess we'll mention Sandoval too. 6K for Sandoval. So these guys are priced basically the same, but John Gray is getting double the ownership. 35% to Gray, 16% to Sandoval. Let's start on the Gray side, like I mentioned, because I think that's going to be a little bit easier. I have him properly owned around 35%, so I don't have any issues with his current ownership. We have him as a 30% top 2 pitcher. I have him as a 28% top 2 pitcher, so I think we're spot on with our evaluation of John Gray. 180 X-ISO to lefties, 130 to righties. This is an Angels team that isn't very good, doesn't have a ton of power. At 6,400, it very clearly seems like a great spot to get to John Gray. I think the ownership is fine. I have 43% of John Gray right now. I don't have really much to add. I think Gray at 35% owned, exactly where he should be. I don't have anything to really evaluate either direction. Now, Sandoval on the opposite side, a little interesting. I'm not getting there. I only have 9%. He's projected for 16. But I think his true ownership should probably be in that 20 to 25 range. He's probably a tad under-owned if you're just looking at this slate in totality. But we're not. And it's because I'm getting to the Rangers, the top team, it's stopping me from getting to a little bit more Sandoval. But as we talk about Sandoval, we're talking about a guy with an 0.77 X-ISO against lefties. Now, that's only 436 pitches, but still. Lefties don't touch Sandoval. Now, the only lefties that I expect to see today are going to be Corey Seager and maybe Nate Lowe. It's going to be a sea of righties. Righties, 154 X-ISO, 20% K rate. So it's not as if Patrick Sandoval gets bombed, but if he's going to be doing anything, it's going to happen against righties. Rangers are lining it up a little bit better. I don't mind getting to more Sandoval. 16% ownership feels about right. I am lighter, though. And it's because I'm getting to Texas. They are the number one team in our top stack tool. 35.7%. I have them number one in my top stack tool, 35.6%. So the difference between of 1/10 of a fantasy point. Same exact top value rank as well. We have them 23% owned, which is the number one team. We got 6 teams, but they're in a quarter of the lineup. I have no disagreements. Right now, out of the gate, 70 Rangers stacks, 36% owned. Doubling up on Marcus Semien, who I think looks fantastic today. Leadoff spot. Now, you got to find the 5,700 for him, but you're getting a second baseman. You got to remember, there's probably only 6 second basemen, maybe 7. Let's just look quickly. How many people are eligible at second base today? 8, actually. 8 guys are eligible at second base. In my opinion, Semien is the clear best option, but you got to pay for it. I'm very happy to do that. But I like Josh Young, Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim, $3,800 catcher option from the right side. Yeah, Mitch Garver, clearly not much of a problem either. Going to be really hard to get away from Texas. Because I don't see any, but like the ownership on the Rangers, basically like from 16 to 25%. I don't even think that that's crazy. Like maybe you can say that like Mitch Garver's a little overowned. Maybe you could even say that Marcus Semien's a little overowned. I don't think that he is, but I have no problem with the Rangers ownership today. I think they're the best team, and I think they should be. And I think you should be getting to Texas pretty aggressively. That said, I do find the Angels to be a little interesting. This is a park that plays up lefty power. That's going to be great for Nolan Schnull, Moustakis, Jared Walsh. Those lefties look pretty good if John Gray is potentially putting guys on. We have the Angels third in top stack, 14.5%. I have them third in top stack at 15.2. So basically the same number. This is the number one value team. Their current projected lineup, 4,400 is your most expensive bat. That's Brandon Drury with a second MPE. You also have the MPE on Walsh and Stefanik. Great flexibility. First 4 hitters, first base, shortstop, second MPE, catcher. Let's add in Moustakis, third. You're hitting the entire infield. You can get the entire infield 1 through 5 of the Angels with the most expensive guy being 4,400. On a 3-game slate, in my opinion, that's hard to pass up on. I think Nolan Schnull, if he's hitting leadoff, first base 3,400, might be my favorite play on the slate. He's projected for 22% ownership. I actually think that number might be too low. So I am also getting to the Angels in an aggressive way. We have them second in ownership at 19%. I have 48 stacks of the Angels, 28% overall. Of the 150 stacks that I generated for myself, 118 of them are coming in this Angels-Rangers game. I think this is the best game that you can get to for offense, and I'm getting to every bit of it. The only guy that I don't have double digits of is Michael Stefanik at 9%, and that might come up. Second base, third base, MPE, $100 north of the minimum. I love targeting this game. I don't see anything that I want to get away from. Other than the fact that the Angels aren't good, I want all of this. I want all of it. Aggressive ownership to the leadoff hitters. Semien and Schnull, my 2 very clear favorite plays in this matchup. But don't sleep on Zach Neto, who, while isn't like fun to roster, a $3,200 shortstop hitting second, that'll work for me. I mean, he's half the price of Corey Seager. Half. But I only have them separated by 1.6 fantasy points. So think about it like that a little bit. Ultimately, I'm getting to both guys. Is there a single guy that I'm under the field on? All right, I'm 5 percentage points under on Garver, but I still have 17. And it looks like I am just slightly under on Brett Phillips for the Angels. And I'm actually under on Brandon Drury. I guess that makes some sense. Ultimately, this is the game you want, guys. This is the game I'm trying to put you guys on. Angels and Rangers. Alrighty, next up, let's talk a little bit about what we've got going on today. Show schedule for today. Let's I gotta move a window around here first. There we go. That'll make it a little bit easier. All right, for today. Obviously, I am going right now at 10 o'clock until we're done. The NFL Showdown Strategy Show came up earlier. Now, that just wasn't just Showdown. We got 2 Monday Night Football games today. So, Laffy and Matt Kajeski just broke down both of those games for tonight's Monday Night Football games. If you missed it, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. I'll be back again at 5 p.m. tonight for Live Before Lock. Now, I get it. We're going to be 4.5 hours before lock. But myself and Matthew Bellman are going to take another lap through this slate, try to give you as much information as we have at 5 o'clock. We'll see where that ends up, but you'll get a little bit more of an update from myself and Bellman. If you're interested in baseball tonight, don't miss us. Then we've got NFL Live Before Lock at 6 p.m. That's going to be Laffy and Eric Lindquist. They're going to take you up until the lock of the first game. But then you're also going to get Greg and Neil at 7:15 for NFL Showdown Live Before Lock. That's going to be the Live Before Lock before the second game, Bengals and Rams. I have 2 contenders videos out for Bengals and Rams already on the YouTube channel, so go check that out. Steve Cummings says, Rangers will be chalked tonight, right? Yeah, as of right now, they are projected with the most ownership at 23%. The Angels are second at 19%. But I'm getting to both of those teams even more than that. All right, let me look at this. In 1 second, folks. Okay, here we go. Let's get into game number 2. Mariners and Astros. 3.8 run implied total for Seattle. 3.6 for the Astros. Luis Castillo on the hill for Seattle. Justin Verlander going for the Astros. Can we just stop and talk about like the names of the 3 games of pitching? Snell, Castillo, Verlander, Webb, Gray, Sandoval. Like, you don't have anybody worse than average on tonight's slate for pitching. That's kind of wild. Castillo is 9,300. He's projected for 36% ownership. Justin Verlander is 8,500. He's also projected for 35% ownership. And now I guess is the time that I should point out, basically, Blake Snell is stealing a little bit of Sandoval's ownership, but everybody is like 30 to 35% owned. Good luck figuring pitching out. Right now, I'm basically with the field on Luis Castillo. He's 36% owned. I have 29. And I'm right with the field on Verlander. He's 35% owned. I have 35. I have the exact same top pitcher odds as the site, 40% on Castillo. I'm a little bit higher on Verlander than we are. But ultimately, I think both of these guys should be 35% owned, and they are. I don't have anything that really separates the two. I think everybody looks identical relative to salary. I actually think that John Gray is probably the best point per dollar guy. I think his salary is too low here. But as I look at this game right now, I have no issue whatsoever with the Luis Castillo side of it or the Justin Verlander side of it. Castillo obviously has his problems against lefty power. That's really only going to be Alvarez and Tucker. And those guys are a threat to go yard against anybody. It doesn't matter if you have lefty power issues or not. On the Seattle side for Verlander, Verlander gives up more power to righties. That's going to be good for Julio Rodriguez, for Teoscar, for Eugenio Suarez, Ty France to a degree. So there's a lot of power threats in this game. But I don't know how much I want to like aggressively go to it. We're going to start on the Astros side. And this is where it gets funny. We have them at 14.9% to be the top 2 stack. Or to be a top stack. I have them at 14.9%. Exact same number. But I have them second. But we have them second. And I have them 4th. So the ranking is different. Even if I say the odds are the same. They're the most expensive team to get to today. They're the worst value at 6.5%. They are 12% owned. And I think that's where they should be. I have no issue at all with the Astros ownership. In fact, I would say that Alex Bregman for 5,200 is probably underpriced for Houston. But I am a little bit lighter here. I only have 10 Astro stacks. I do have 8.5%. Like, I'm still getting to these guys. But there's no flexibility in this lineup. There's not a single MPE projected. Martin Maldonado is the catching option for Houston. He's buried in the 9-hole, and I think he looks absolutely awful. I don't really see Anything else here for Houston that I want to point out aggressively, other than I think that Bregman is getting slept on, but I think they're appropriately owned around 12%. That brings me in a little bit lighter. I just don't have any talking points for Houston. You get what you pay for, I guess, but it's a terrifying matchup against Luis Castillo. On the opposite side of this one, we've got, I think I underrepresented the Giants in some way, but we'll talk about that later. As I look at the Seattle side, I have them 5th in top stack. We have them 5th in top stack. I'm matching the site having them 4th. So I'm in lockstep here. But they are 4th in ownership at 15%. I think Seattle's a little over-owned in comparison to that number. I have 14 stacks. I have 11%. But I am a little bit lighter on Seattle, just like I'm a little bit lighter on Houston. Now, I have more Seattle than I do Houston, but that's not all that surprising. Seattle gets to face Verlander. Houston has to face Castillo. I'd say the best bat you can get to in the Mariners lineup is going to be Cal Raleigh. $4,200 catcher on a 3-game slate. Like, you're only going to have probably 6 or 7 options at catcher too. I think Raleigh is underrepresented at 13% ownership. Guy I have the most is Julio Rodriguez. All of that looks good. And don't forget, and Stephen Leibowitz just mentioned it here, 86 park factor for runs in Seattle. Greatly limits pitching. 92 park factor to lefty power. Dings that as well. So as I look at this game, I want to take the pitchers before I take the hitters, but ranking it is very difficult. I think everybody is basically properly owned. Yuck. Alrighty. Well, we're through 2 games. So you guys know what time it is then, right? It is time to talk Red Zone. That is the promo code for you guys. Because you're going to get our NFL lineup generator for $9.99 if you click the link in the description and use that promo code. I'm pulling it up on the screen right now so you guys can see it. Because I think it's important to talk about not only what this deal is, which again, it's $9.99 for our NFL lineup generator, but you got to think about how long you get this tool. And that's where it's going to be interesting. So as I pull the lineup generator up, this is going to be like the light version of the Sims tool. We generate all the lineups on the back end for you, and then we get rid of everything that we think is bad. We only present you what we call good lineups. And you can do this for main slates and for showdown. That's why this week is so important. You get 2 showdowns tonight. You'll also get the NFL lineup generator for the 2-gamer tonight. On Thursday, you'll have this NFL lineup generator for showdown for Thursday Night Football. But if you're getting it today, you get it for a week. You'll also have it for everything next Sunday. This is the perfect time to get it because you're going to hit 3 separate primetime games on Monday and Thursday, all of the main slate action on Sunday, and Sunday night primetime. All for $9.99. Just looking at it for showdown here. I'm going to click DK showdown. I'm going to go all lineups right away. I'm going to say Bengals look good, Rams don't. So we'll pick that game script. And all of a sudden, I immediately have a lineup pop up on here. Joe Burrow, Drew Sample, Joe Mixon, Puka Nacua, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. 5-1 Bengals stack coming in here. Pretty chalky lineup. Very close to optimal. If you like it, click save. If you don't, click discard. When I click discard, another one just pops right up. And then another one, and another one. I'm DJ Khaled in this piece. You can get everything that we're looking at right now. Save a bunch of them. And then go look at your saved lineups. It'll show you your exposures. It'll show you the lineups. It'll show you the stacks that you have, depending on which slate you're on. All of this for $9.99 using the promo code REDZONE. Link in the description. Don't sleep on it. This ends today. If you don't get it now, you don't get it at all. Zach Everhart wants to know, Josh, are you doing content for the playoffs? I don't know. Haven't had that conversation yet. My guess is yes, at the very least for like the first week or so, when we have like multiple game slates. I don't know what that's going to look like as we move further along, because we're going to have basketball coming up in a month for sure. Got to start prepping for that. We'll have some MLB content. I just don't know what it's going to look like as we go any further. Alrighty, game 3. Final game for today. Actually, give me 1 second. I want to see. I do. And boom. Perfect. All right, let's look at this final game. Giants. Wow, I'm getting to a lot of Austin Slater. Giants and Padres. 3.3 run implied total for the G-Men. Actually, I realized that I need to rerun something. But we're going to keep talking about it in a second. This is going to be an interesting one because of Blake Snell and Logan Webb. It has become a very difficult slate to talk about. We're going to talk about it right now. So let me just refresh that lineup pool. And we'll refresh the sim. Copy some data over. And in like a minute, I'll refresh it and see if anything changed. Just lock Evan Carter. Yeah. I'm getting tired of you tagging me. But he's not in the projected lineup right now, so we won't have to talk about him. So as we talk about this game, here's what we've got. It's Logan Webb on the hill for the Giants. 7,900. He's properly owned at 32%. We had him 35% top 2 pitcher. I had him at 34. I have 49%, so I am a little bit interested here. I like that price tag quite a bit. But then we look at Blake Snell. He's 9,600, so he is your most expensive pitcher today. He's in the park that limits power big time. 47% top 2 pitcher odds. I had it at 43. He's 45% owned. I have it a hair lower than that. I'm only getting to 35% Blake Snell, but he's pretty clearly the top pitching option for today. I think I'm going to get a little bit more once this sim is finished running. It's just about there. But as I look at this game, you should be getting to a bunch of Snell. You should be getting to a bunch of Logan Webb. I think both guys are appropriately owned. I do agree that Blake Snell should be the most expensive pitcher on today's slate. And I agree that he should be the most owned, and he is. When I refresh this, I'm going to have more Blake Snell. We're dangerously close to that. I wonder how it's going to change everything else. We can talk about the hitting, though, now. Because I don't think people need thoughts on Blake Snell and Logan Webb. That's the obvious piece of all of this. I think Snell Gray is going to be your preferred cash option too, if you can get to it. Now, as we look at bats, all right, I killed enough time. I filibustered long enough to get to my crunch being updated. So let's refresh that. Rangers and Angels, big stand. Okay, so nothing really changed from the hitting side. So that makes things really easy to talk about. So now we could refresh this. Yeah, all right. So now I'm matching the field on Snell at 47%. I'm still a little bit over on Logan Webb, but that all looks good to me. I'm a little lighter on Castillo now. But as I look at this game, we've got the Giants 6th in top stack, 9%. But they're second in value. It's $4,100 Thairo Estrada, and then everybody else is free. Austin Slater is the problem here. And the real problem will be adjusted for me later on. I won't have 47% Austin Slater. This is righties against the lefty in the Padres. We know what happens when the Giants face a lefty. They get guys out. You're only going to get probably two plate appearances out of Austin Slater, and they're going to yank him the moment Blake Snell comes out of this game. So I will make changes to limit the amount of plate appearances that Austin Slater will receive in my projections. It's not something I do in the morning. But as I look at this right now, I don't want much of the Giants. I am neutral in overall ownership, but the most I have of anybody that isn't Austin Slater is 11% JD Davis. When Slater comes down to 11, I will be greatly under the field on San Francisco. If you want to be on the opposite side of the Blake Snell ownership, I get it. But this Giants team is a big threat for pinch hit risk on a 3-game slate, and I don't want to be anywhere near large ownership on San Francisco. Similarly, the Padres are 3rd in ownership. This is not a great spot to me, even though I think they are the second best stack you can get to in terms of talent. But It's Logan Webb on the opposite side. I don't like this park for it. We're seeing the Padres be the third most owned team at 17%. I'm not here for it. I only have 8%. I think the Padres are the easiest fade from a hitting stack just because of this game environment. Give me more of Angels Rangers. I'm going to try to avoid the Padres in bulk. They're 16% owned. I have 8. Now I'm getting to Bogarts, Tatis, Soto, all 11 to 14% owned. But this isn't. I don't want the bottom of the order. I don't want Matthew Batten if he's 15% owned. I don't want Kim or Campusano if they're hitting further down in the order. Campusano a little bit different since he's a catcher. When I look at this game, I'm ranking it Snell, Webb, Padres, Giants, but I would like to be on the opposite side of the Padres from a ownership perspective, and I want to run away from the Giants because of the pinch hit risk. 3 games up, 3 games down. We did it in 30 minutes. I hope you guys hit up Owner's Box this past Sunday. Another massive overlay slate in the NFL. Little Birdie told me they might be bumping that prize pool back up for week 4. You don't want to miss that. They had some massive overlay this week. It didn't get me any money, but with our Sims tool and with all of the tools that we have at Stokastic.com, if you sign up for Owner's Box using the link in the description, you're going to get the Sims Max package for a week and up to $500 at Owner's Box. Take advantage of the money, folks. Take advantage of the overlay. It's going to be the best contest you get in the industry. We're going to hit on that all week for sure. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. To the 70 people that showed up to watch baseball today, thank you very much. It's been nice to see you guys. I'm guessing we get a normal slate tomorrow and for the rest of the week. So make sure you're tuning in. MLB Contenders videos will be out in a little bit. They're clearly not any type of rush. Maybe I'll do them a little bit later when we get actual lineups. But thanks, guys, for being here. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Have a good day. Enjoy everything that you do. I'll talk to you later.